All right, let's go into it. Hi, YouTube. I hope you guys are doing well. Hi, welcome. We decided that we were gonna watch Three Gods to No Lion, so apparently we're watching Three Gods to No Lions. I absolutely know nothing about this show other than the fact that it's been absolutely like yelled at by me for a bunch of people to like go ahead and watch it. I think this is broken down into multiple seasons. If anything, we're just watching one episode at a time, testing it out, testing out the waters. Just making sure that it's decent. If you're new to this because it's the first episode, guys, we tend to pause and analyze and talk about it, as we go through it. If I'm looking to my left or to my right, it's usually because I have a shit ISP. We have to make sure that we're still up and running and it's not just like coming down and like being destroyed, so that like stream is still running. Just giving you guys a heads up on that. And other than that, yeah, like this is completely live, so there's no way for me to like run all 24 minutes and just be like, wow, and then go back and look at it. Because thanks so much for the 50 bits for good. I sincerely appreciate it. So we do got to stop and we do got to talk about it and whatnot. No, I was just saying, guys, why don't we go ahead and just jump into it and get started? I think it'll be absolutely fantastic. It's been a hot minute since we've touched any other anime, so let's just go for it. All right, guys, it's Three Gods to No Lion, episode 1. Probably blast this up again.
ゼロだって変な名前でもぴったりよねあなたにだってそうでしょ家もない家族もない学校にも行ってない友達もいないほらあなたの居場所なんてこの世のどこにもないじゃない
I'll wait. I have a whole lot of things to say here, but I'll wait. I was gonna say, let me guess. He actually wears glasses, but he doesn't actually need them. He wears glasses because, for him, glasses is an immediate wall to the persona that he's trying to hide underneath, right? And that's why you'll often see characters wear glasses, and when, like, all of a sudden their glasses are off, all the vulnerability level goes all the way up. And then you're going to start finding out that there's actually some mommy trauma, right? Some mommy dommy trauma in this, where mommy didn't necessarily communicate everything like to him, and he was like took everything the wrong way and caused some really bad cognitive distortions, which enabled him to like swallow in his pain or wallow in his pain and have all these really really bad self-talk and self-schemas. And this whole thing is quite literally like other people, support networks coming in and trying to help him out to grow and to try and like step out of his shell and like stop with all of these parataxic distortions, all of these like really really bad cognitive distortions, not even parataxic distortions, to be able to grow and like better himself or something, right? I feel like this is sort of where the show might take it, just from 12 minutes 30 seconds in. That'd be interesting. I'm not even saying the glasses are fake. I'm just saying a lot of people, for example, will wear an item of clothing. Not even it doesn't even necessarily have to be glasses. Can be like earrings. Can be something as quite literally a wall to be able to like. It doesn't even have to be like consciously aware that they're like retaining a mask. It can be even subconsciously, right? For example, some people, it's like, what if he just doesn't see shit? Hey, if he's a part of the blind crew like we are, like those of us that wear glasses, and he's a part of that crew, right? But even then, like for example, me when I fight, I take off my glasses, right? But I take off my glasses because for me it's a lot easier for me to be able to go ahead and like hear things, right? So like, for example, me, I can't see shit. Like I go from here, I can't see the screen. I can't see OBS. I can't see chat. I can't see anything at all. Like even the microphone that's like right here, I can't see it. It's fuzzy. It's extremely fuzzy to the point where I can't even see it. So when I'm fighting, I'm relying off of my sound, right? Because I go off of breathing and I go off of the movements that feet are doing rather than seeing a person, because everything's blurry. I have like a -7, -8 fucking vision, man. It's horrible. It's absolutely bad. Quick, you can't see. Say something. I put on my glasses again. We're watching Three Gods in the Lion. We're talking about, like, for example, with depression itself, guys. How bad has it gotten? And also, this is where my next point's gonna get. This is where it's coming. If he is depressed, right? One of the big areas that I'll be able to go to and tell, or specifically this, is if this is his room, if this is his apartment or something. And let's say that if he just moved in, I'll excuse it. But if it's been a long time, if it's been like more than 2 or 3 months, especially 28 days specifically, and he hasn't started to settle in, this is where all of a sudden attachments, my attachment thing comes into play big time. There's some issues happening, right? The reason being is, and this might be something so subtle that most people aren't aware of it, but what do we keep in boxes when we move? Why do we go ahead and start setting everything up? Because we want to start feeling attached to a place. We want to go ahead and start building roots. People that have attachment disorders or attachment issues in general, especially if you're avoidant attachment or you've gotten hurt and you developed a weird form of attachment, they will literally keep their apartment, their houses as bare bones as possible. Because for them, they need to be able to leave at any moment's time. Because for them, that's not their home. That's not their house. That's only an area where they sleep. And it even gets worse if you go into relationships. That's not a person, or that's not their partner. That's just a person that comes out from time to time for them to copulate or do whatever they need to do. So this is, it's interesting that like they're actually showing all of this. Like even more, he had time to set up. I'm guessing this is like forgot the name of this game. Shogi, show something, right? He had the time to set all of this up, but he didn't have time to take out any of his fucking things in his boxes. I wish the view from my windows. I know. All I get is desert, Eidolon. All I get is desert. Not fun. Yeah, not fun at all, dude. The animation looks really familiar. Is this set in the Bakemonogatari universe or no? Have to sing cause copyright. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I'm sure this whole part of the video is gonna get muted, so say whatever you guys want, chat. Maybe. Yeah, y'all pop up. Hey, yo, Crave. You're beautiful, man. You're true neutral fox. Editors, I'm sorry. There's nothing I could do about it. This is... The anime just has it. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, editors. I'm trying to lessen it for you guys, but this is hard. Or even worse. Okay, hold on. Let me guess. This guy's probably gonna be a fucking shoji prodigy who hasn't competed in a while or something. And then he's gonna start teaching other people how to play, and he's gonna use this propinquity that's being able to go and set up from like helping others or starting his own school or something into how to play to be able to go and start growing. And because of that growth, he's gonna start being able to go and step out of his shell and start learning, right? Because when you're so into a fucking game, right, or into, for example, if you're into chess or like any particular sport, then you only focus on that one thing, you actually do start to lose a lot of socialization elements. You do start to go and lose a lot of the fundamental skills that wouldn't, like social skills that like people need to be able to go and communicate or be able to need to go and do certain things. What way would I approach this if I'm writing something like this? Well, number one, throw in like, you know, characters that like characters or characters out there that like can go ahead and be like more empathetic, like this is your sister, this is someone else out there, you know, or like this is someone that you need to go ahead and relate to, as like a soft core way of like getting him to open up, getting him to do certain things, so on and so forth. I'm just curious as to where this is going to go and how, where this is going to develop, you know. Oh, it's like an official competition thing. It's like if like, you know, if it's like if Magnus showed up to play against Hikaru.
暑いなあ。まだ梅雨にも入っとらんというのに。
Oh, oh.
参ったな。こんな時だっていうのに、天気の話しか出てこんとは。じゃあ、始めるか。
I have to ask, guys, is there a chess anime out there? No game, no life. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm finding interesting. Everyone else that you see in here does look significantly older than our main character here. What has my man had to sacrifice or even like battle against? What sort of demons is he battling that he's in an area where like a majority of the people in there are significantly like older than you, right? In some way, shape, or form. So I'm just curious as to where this is gonna go. Oh, did you lose the fun of playing, of winning? Maybe you got so good that you started destroying others, and in the process, you literally like isolated yourself unknowingly. The process of becoming really good can be really dangerous and really isolate one another. A lot of people don't know this, but even like the process of starting something new, a lot of people don't internalize this. Can literally isolate you from your friends, can isolate you from you know, even your best mates, because of everything going on. Like we often put our, like even for example, content creators, and I know I talked to Tiabu about this. Like, you know, we often look down at our own work that we forget that there's a whole world out there. You know, go touch some grass, masters. Like, you know, there's a whole world of like content creators and other people out there doing some wonderful things, but we're so caught up in our own little world that we're trying to build that, like, you know, we forgot to check in, and we forgot to see that like change is constantly happening. And you know, you can either become really isolated, you can start like reaching out to others and see what's going on. Yep. Yep. But that's the thing though.
ああ、ないな。
That's what I was gonna say. You know, at that point in time, you might have been sad that they're like, you know, that they left, and they might have felt hurt or whatever. But there might come in time, in point where they look back and they're actually like looking at you with sadness because you never reached it out, because you were never there for them, because you were like, you got so engrossed in your game that nobody is able to help you out. What's up, Penguin? That's actually really good.
うん、ない。
That's deep.
負けました。強くなったな。
You've gotten better.
ちゃんと食べているのか？急に出て行って、歩夢も京子も心配してるぞ。
Oh. Gotten better at what cost, though? At what cost? Actually, can you imagine how sad that would be as a teacher as well? I've had this happen. In case you guys don't know, before I got the big gym and whatnot, uh, my father, he's always done this for a majority of his life. Is he would teach martial arts for free to a lot of like kids in the area, because there tends to be a lot of gangs, a lot of drugs, a lot of stuff in the environment. So he would literally just like be out there helping them how to defend themselves and whatnot. And sometimes, even while being like teaching or whatnot, you can see when a person is just going through the motions, or when they've like, you know, fallen back into old habits or something like that. And at times it can hurt. It can hurt a lot more just seeing them just go through the motions and not necessarily be there for themselves or enjoy what they're doing. Or for example, enjoy the game that they're playing or enjoy whatever, and they're just there like doing it just for because that's what they know how to do, right? Because that's the only way they know how to cope. Because that's the only way that they've been taught on how to do things. For example, ask yourselves this, if in case you guys are ever wondering, why do you do what you do? For example, why do you like what do you do to relax, and why do you do it that way? What are your hobbies, and why do you like them? Why do you genuinely like them? Did somebody else introduce them? Is there social stigma? Is there something going on around there that like pushes that for you, right? Or is it because you genuinely enjoy it? If you're in a relationship, do you like what you like because you genuinely like it, or do you like what you like because your partner influenced you to like it in some way, shape, or form? Like, what core areas of yourself are you, and what other areas have been influenced by outside members, by outside personnel? And those are genuinely deep questions that always need to be asked, especially if you ever get married, especially if you're into a relationship. If you're married and you're in a relationship, you still have to be your own independent you. You still have to be your own person. You might like some things that your partner doesn't like, and that's okay. You know, and this is why I'm bringing this up, because at the core, it's like, who is this character? Who is this character? What does he genuinely like? Has he lost passion for the game? If so, why? Why did he get into it? Is he influenced to be in here, or is he just using this to cope for the meanwhile? And it's okay, guys. We all cope with shit sometimes, right? Like, we all use something to cope with another. For example, I got really into Warhammer 40k for a good little bit. And I would go and play at the store, especially when I was abroad, because for me, that was the way that I could cope with a lot of the stress of life that was happening during that point. I could not buy any of the things because it was out of my budget, but it was a way that I would use to cope, right? After I got done, I like it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to go ahead and buy any of the figurines. It costs a little bit too much on my side. But I'm not using it as a coping mechanism anymore, you know?
嘘だ。
But Roxy figuring this out. Oh, we're having curry tonight. Let's go. What if you act... Okay, hold on. This might be something weird. What if he actually transitions? Because my thing is you can be a phenomenal player, right? And lose passion for it, but then gain passion back from like teaching others and the gift of teaching and all of that, or being a coach or something. That's sort of where I'm wondering, is this gonna like head into that where like he starts to regain some of his passion or some of his games, or like not even mind if he loses or something because of some external circumstance? We're getting there. The fuck? Oh, that's deep. How many of y'all cancel plans not because you don't have anything to do, but because your depression and your stress and whatever's going on in your life literally stops you from going, or literally makes you be like, you don't go. No, no, or you want to be by yourself, and you start isolating yourself in that regard. I'll be honest, I've done it in the past. Like, people were like, hey, come on over, come on, do this, and I was like, no, I'm feeling a little under the weather. But that wasn't true. I don't know, I felt like I wasn't wanted there. I felt like I didn't want to go ahead and be a burden, or I felt like, certain cognitive thoughts started coming up. And people often do that. People, like, it's a very common thing for it to happen, which is why I'm pointing it out. Like, depression, and especially like numbness, I guess if we're gonna go with that one, can be huge for, yeah, exactly, Colin, exactly. Okay, and I'm thanks for being vulnerable and opening up about that, because like, yeah, it can stop a lot of people from partaking in everyday activities, and it sucks. It sucks because a part of you wants to go and wants to be a part of the group, and another part of you is like, no, no, that's not where you need to go. But forcing him to buy groceries, or forcing him to do certain things, or whatnot, yeah, that's always a smart move. But that's sort of the importance of roles, dude. Aw, kitty. Hey, yo, who's this? Is that the mom, or is that the older sister?
アイスとあとプリンも。
あらあら、こんなにありがとね。アイスしまうとこ開けてくるね。でも
Hey, yo. Bonfire, don't bonk me, no. Callan says, got my job deleted because the post was no longer needed, so I went into deep, yeah. No, oh, Callan, I'll be straight up with you. Losing a job is one of those fundamental things, right? Like, if we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's your security, brother. Like, especially if you were up here and, like, it just gets rug pulled and you, like, fall. That's you free falling for a bit, dude. That's a lot. That's a fucking lot. I'm glad you had a friend. I'm genuinely glad you had a friend that, like, sort of dragged you, or sort of started pulling you, and sort of, like, doing anything to help you out. Like, that's huge. And I'm genuinely glad you have friends that are able to go out and help, that helped you out during that time, and helped you find a new job, or helped you do anything. That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah. No, I'm still interested. That's a cute. I don't know what you're thinking, Aldous.
お土産ですから。でもすみません。どれがいいのかわからなくて。 こんなにいっぱいに。
いいわ、これで。
あ、そうだ。レイ君試合どうだった？あかり姉ちゃんが言ってたの。部活の大事な試合なんだって。
勝ったよ。
そっか。よかった。
おじいさん、ご飯をください。いや、もうすぐ、昨日から水しか飲んでません。
もう、お鍋危ないってば。ひな、にゃーたちにご飯あげて。あとお皿並べてちょうだい。
And this older sister can cook? Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
お姉ちゃん、レイ君勝ったって。そう。さあ、食べようね。あ、これひな、仏様のご飯にカレーを。え、ダメ？だってお母さんもおばあちゃんもカレー大好きだったから。だからといってカレーは。でも好きだったよね。確かに。まあ正しいか。
ママもカレー大好き。
お母さん、おばあちゃん、今日のカレーは豚こまですよ。じゃあみんな食べましょうか。
いただきます。ママも卵が乗っけて。
はいはい、1個食べられるかな。
では次のニュースです。日比谷市で16日、会社員の長川静雄さんが自宅で鈍器のようなもので殴られ死亡しているのが見つかった事件で、行方不明になっていた大学2年生になる長男の忠容疑者を逮捕しました。
Why is she so much wholesome?
調べによりますと、父親の頭や顔などを数十回にわたってハンマーで殴り死亡させた疑いです。
幸田さん、残念だったな。久しぶりのリーグ入りがかかってたのに。
まさか息子にぶっちぎられるとはね。ある意味本望ってところかな。
まあ本当の息子だったらの話だがな。
言って言ってまるで素手で殴ってるような感触がした。殴った肌の温かさまで生々しく残ってる気がする。父さん。
I was gonna say that's when you get checked out, bro, because that can lead to a lot of anger issues, pretty quickly. If the only warmth that you're feeling is from literally like playing others and fighting them and doing whatever, dude, that's a red fucking flag if I've seen one, dude. Like, straight up. Out of all situations and contexts and whatnot, if you're feeling numb and the only way that you can envision some sort of emotion or warmth is by imagining that you're beating someone else up in some way, shape, or form, guys, get checked out. Go talk to a counselor or something. Because honestly, deep depression or some sort of depression can honestly lead people to, you know, start doing some things as well. And not only that, dude, I'll even throw this out there. A lot of people like to throw out there, oh yeah, they did this because they were mentally ill. A majority of the population, at least in the United States at the moment, right? We can go ahead and throw this out there, do not have access to getting diagnosed or healthcare or something like that, right? So your coworker who you think is smiling all the time, who's nice to you, who whatever, they might honestly be under an insane amount of stress and have a lot of anxious responses, but they've never been diagnosed. So they can never cope with it because they can't afford the medication. Or then another coworker might be so extremely depressed that they're numb, and the smiling face that they're giving you is just the mask that they've learned to wear to fit into society. But every smile hurts more and more, but they can never be treated because they can't afford it, because they don't have the access to the tools to get that. It is a lot more common than people think, and it's sad often to hear stories like this, because like I've heard it once, twice, if not 1,000 times by now, of people saying, I feel numb, and the only reason I feel any warmth, any emotion, is by doing this one particular thing. In senses of like anything, genuinely. Being with the partner, hitting others, playing a game, drowning themselves on social media, drowning themselves on YouTube videos, on reaction content, on anything, because that for them is the only way that they're able to go ahead and cope with certain things or express themselves. Huge. Fucking huge.
レイ君どうしたの？寒い？大丈夫？風邪かな？なんかあったかいの飲む？牛乳とか。大変だー！温めてきたすぎる！持ってくる！
すみません。
大丈
Aww.
夫。残してもいいよ。
And she's very fucking observant, dude. Like, she's very observant. Raccoon, thanks so much for the 50 bits. Everyone drop some Doritos for Raccoon. I appreciate it, Raccoon. You're an absolute fucking goat. I genuinely mean that. You're amazing. Dude, what the heck? What the heck, dude? I was gonna say, dude, she's an absolute goat. The way that she's able to go and observe him and observe sort of the reactions and not say anything. She just took it in. I feel like she's probably gonna play a pivotal role, and I also wonder if he's ever known what it means to lose, what that journey would take for him, so on and so forth. What does it feeling numb mean? Feeling numb means that, like, no matter, like, situations or other things would make you feel happy or sad or angry or whatever, but you don't feel those emotions. You don't feel anything. It's too much to feel anything. It takes a lot of energy to feel anything. It hurts to feel anything. There's a difference between stoicism, i.e., like, being baseline, for the most part, and being numb. Sorry, my cat fell. But losing interest in hobbies, losing interest in everything fucking sucks, bro. Damn.
ゆっくりでいいから。でもちょっとだけ食べなね。
はい。
おう、なんだ坊主、もう寝てんのか？行儀悪いな。食っちゃねえか？
ご飯が終わったらコロンとなっちゃったの。気を失ったみたい。
対局の方はどうだったんだ？
勝ったみたい。でも真っ白な顔してきたわ。ご飯もちょっとしか食べなかった。
そりゃ無理もねえだろうな。そうか。昨べもどうせ寝られなかったんだろう。今日のところは寝かしとけや。じゃあ俺もあっち戻って寝るわ。明日あんこだけの日だからな。戸締まりちゃんとしろよ。
おやすみじいちゃん。明日どら焼き包みに行くから。
Aww.
頼むわ。じゃあな。おやすみ。
タオルケット持ってきたよ。
He legit just passed out. Oh, bro. Dude literally cried himself to sleep. Bro, no. I'll be honest, that's so common. Like, especially and if you don't want to share, don't feel free not to share or whatnot. If you've ever been in that deep darkness that you can call a void, right? And sometimes you run out of tears. You run out of, like, sniffing. You run out of pretty much everything. And you're just left in the dark. A dark, dark place by yourself. Trying to cope with pretty much everything. This is March comes in like a lion. Depression sucks, guys. Depression hurts. Which is why you'll always hear me say, like, hey, if you just got up today, don't matter if you did your bed. If you did your bed, that's an extra step. But the fact that you managed to go ahead and get up and, wake up and do something, I applaud that. And it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of work takes a lot to fucking fundamentally start changing stuff, because it's not an easy thing, and being in something like that is a lot. It's an absolute lot. And like, I'm the reason why I can empathize in certain regards, because I've been in that place before as well, and I'm sure most of you guys have experienced something like that. And in your experience, what helped you get out? Was it friends? Was it family? Was it yourself through your own inner struggles? And sometimes that's it, Colin. Sometimes I don't even want to wake up. There's a trigger warning here. Hold on. Trigger warning here. After the first time that after essentially I had my life set up pretty much from, I don't know how to put it. You guys have heard this story before, but my first attempt, right, was because of a really, really fucked up situation, really bad breakup, really bad scenario, infidelity, everything, movement plans, university plans, everything got fucked over really, really hard. And I attempted, shortly thereafter, because of something that happened. And I felt like everything that we originally was set up was like rug pulled, essentially, using crypto terms here, right? And I fell into a deep, deep, deep depression, to the point where, for example, I did my bachelor's in a year, right? Because I got a bunch of associates, so I did my bachelor's in a year, and I was working full time, and I was still doing plays, and I was still working as like a social worker, psychologist, that type of thing. This is before therapy, by the way, so it was like more of a social worker type thing, case manager. I was doing 101 things out there. So I was absolutely, and still like having this really, really long-term relationship. So I was trying to manage all of this so that they were still in school, they were going to graduate, so everything could line up perfectly. We could move over to the university setting, so I can get my master's or doctorates or whatever, and they can continue on in their educational journey. Anyway, that rug pull happened, and it felt like everything that had apartments lined up, or the apartment that was set, bank accounts, whatever you want to go and get thing, gone in an instant. And it's like, what do you do, right? And even through that, right, it's all of a sudden you drop down low, and you're like in a setting of like, oh fuck, everything fell apart. Everything that you thought was set, that plans were already working towards, without any communication or previous knowledge or anything, completely fucking destroyed, right? So you start taking these steps, right? And I don't even know how to put it, but like I remember, for example, and this is why I'm saying trigger warning. I remember that night, because it was really close to my birthday, coming home, and putting a gun in my mouth and trying, right, attempting. And I remember that being one of the hardest moments of like realization and thinking, like, is this truly it? Is everything that that I had been working at that point just gone? Am I truly worth anything? There was family issues happening. There was 101 scenarios just happening all at once. And for me, that was like the end all be all, right? That was like a holy fuck, like everything fell down. And I was numb. I was, nothing happened. Nothing happened. I'll be straight up with you. Nothing happened, luckily. But I was completely devastated. I felt extremely numb. Of course, I cried my eyes out, whatever, to the point where you're crying without tears. And I remember getting up, and I'll go through this, going to that university, or attempting to, everything was set up to go to that university. But rumors or situations or whatnot was already like, oh, you can't do this class because that person's going to be in that class, so you can't go to it. It's like, wait a minute, but aren't all students supposed to be equal, or aren't all things supposed to do whatever? And feeling all this way, and all of a sudden being like, you know what, I'm just gonna go into study psychology, do what I need to do, get better, heal, start doing those steps. But honestly, the reason why I started to get out of this was because my family was there, because my siblings and friends were there to go and help me out, because they were like, hey, you can't just be in your room locked in all the time. We got to take you out, man. We got to show that you are okay, because you're a cool dude, and you should be able to go out and enjoy yourself and do what needs to be done. And it's thanks to those steps, it's thanks to those individuals, thanks to support structures that were set, that I was able to go and get out of there. Was it an easy road? Absolutely not. Were there days where I fell back into that sudden feeling of nothingness? Absolutely, right? But that's sort of where it comes from, right? It's like seeing this, I'm like, yeah, Callan, it's yeah. and it's a big step in there. And that's why I'm I'm bringing this up. Like seeing this character go through something like this, you can tell that there's a lot of trauma. You can tell that he's probably been through a lot. And even the whole like judging, or for example, judging is a very common thing. Narrative spinning is very common, and oftentimes you get to go and experience it and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's a lot that this show's probably going to go into, and I'm kind of wondering how many of you guys personally like projected yourselves in some way, shape, or form onto this character, and what you guys like. Don't tell me what you guys took out of it until we reach the end, but sort of like what was that journey like? Anyway, I appreciate all of you guys. That's why I said, hey, I was gonna get deep with that. I gave you guys the warning there because it is a deep concept. It's one of those concepts that a lot of people are not comfortable opening up and talking about. It's a concept and like thing, especially when it comes to like deep depression or the call of the void or attempts or any of that, where people are not necessarily like open to talking about it or talking about their experiences or how they're growing or what happened or how they've grown or what they've done. So that's exactly it. But I hope that at least that gives some reflection for some people out there that are like, wait a minute, how do you know this? It's like at some point in time, we've all experienced, it doesn't even have to be deep depression, but we've all experienced being alone. We've all experienced like, not knowing if we're being a burden to others or something like that. Like, and if you haven't experienced at some point in your life, you will experience it, right? Some areas in life where you can go ahead and draw that, like empathize with and draw those experiences from to talk about them. Anyway.
大きな川沿いの小さな町でこれから僕は暮らしてゆく。
Oh, RoboCat.
C 級1組5段17歳。職業プロ棋士。
Damn, that cat look evil as fuck.
フクロウなわけないよね普通。民家にいきなりこんなご立派な白フクロウいないよね。しかもいきなり畳の上に直に。君猫だよね多分。おはようございます。はい、あ、はい。お願い混ぜて。卵もお願い。はい。
それじゃお姉ちゃんちゃんと起こしましたよ。さあ行きましょうママ。私も今起きます。
お
兄ちゃんがちゃんと起こしてくれたのに、なんでまた寝ちゃったんだろう。でもおいしい。大変だ。時間が。でももう一杯。
まだ食べるの？
あ、レン君これ持ってって。お弁当。ちょっとでかいけど軽く握っといたから大丈夫。
ありがとう。
Bro, someone handed me a ball like that, I'd be like, hey, yo, let's take a little piece away from this. This looks like a little too much. Holy fuck, was that an animated door? Was that an automatic door?
俺が持って出たらみんな入れないのでは？
大丈夫。なくてもどっかからは入れるから。
ダメじゃん。行ってみるかな。学校。
Yay, he's going to school. Let's go.
おろ、なんだ桐山、でっかい握り飯だな。サッカーボール？
先生。
いいな、米。俺月末まで金なくてこのありさまだよ。
Bro, we're fucking real adult in an anime here. I'm fucking broke till the end of the month, so this is all I can get. Real adult fucking shit right here, dude.
桐山たちってさ、対局料って月払いなの？それとも対局ごと振り込み？
ああ、月払いです。銀行に普通に振り込まれます。まとめて月末に。
ネットでずっと追っかけてたけどさ。お前今結構勝ち進んでるから対局数多いよな。桐生戦、玉将戦、新人戦、ひふみ。なあ、桐山。
How much do they make? Yeah.
お前今ひょっとして俺より月給高くね？くっさー！お前なんかとも昼飯一緒に食ってやんねえ！
っていうか頼んでないし。
悔しかったら早く友達作れ学校で。先生は大人だから忙しいんだ。
I mean, fair. An indirect kiss?
中
What?
学生でプロになって天才とまで呼ばれた少年もここでは普通の悩める17歳か。一体何を考えてるんだろうな。
But let's be honest, how many of you actually wish, like, especially when you're in high school or whatever, that a teacher genuinely cared about you in some way, shape, or form like that? Like, was able to go out and interact with you in a funny way like that, right? Or, like, even if it's just a fucking joke, but genuinely had these thoughts like, wow, okay, like, he's probably going through a fucking lot, right? Or it doesn't even have to be a teacher, it could be a fucking counselor or something, dude. Friend, family member, someone.
いらっしゃいませ。あら、レイ君、お帰りなさい。
Hey,
おにぎり美味
yo.
しかった？ちょうどよかった。手伝ってもらえるかな？私がレバーを
Oh,
かけるから
raccoon,
一個
what?
ずつ箱に入れて重ねてってくれる？
あ、はい。
Oh, that's great, Eidolon.
じゃあ手洗ってきて。黄身あんと粒あん3個ずつね。
はい。
That sounds
可愛いお手紙
horrible.
でしょ。
What the
警
fuck?
察じゃないですよね。高そうだ。
実はこれひなが作ったのよ。びっくりでしょ。芋版だよ。さつまいもを掘って押したの。可愛いでしょ。おじいちゃんのお友達の修士の先生の70歳のお祝いの会のお土産なの。コキってやつね。ひなも小学生の頃ちょっぴり習ってたんだよね。だからこれはひなからのお祝いなのね。
幸せだね、染地さんは。孫がみんなこんなに手伝ってくれて。そうだな、家訪問とは染地さんのことだ。
何言ってんで。チビまでちょこまかついてきてうるさくてかなわねえ。
おじいちゃん見て、折れたが。
すごいな、折り紙か。
ごめんなさいね。
Fucking grandparents,
ちょっと
bro.
孫に弱くってね。
ちょっとかな。
That's what I'm going through with my parents right now, right? Because like they really like my niece and nephew, but it's like anything they're doing, they're like, "Oh my fucking god, you're a genius!" And I'm like, "Hold on, let's build up realistic expectations here. Let's be positive, right? Like we don't have to go ahead and like dethrone them. You can be amazing and positive and all this stuff, but like still not be like." Hype them up to the point where like they feel like they've been lied to, you know. Give them realistic expectations so that they can grow, bro. I got it. I was like, where the fuck was that love whenever it came to us? What? I got her pine cones from the family ranch that were massive. Oh, but that's fucked up, Raccoon. Like some kids really don't have a heart, or they really only do stuff for a little bit. Like I don't know, attention and social stigma are huge for some reason. High schoolers or a lot of people like in school like to think that that's the end all be all. I'm in school, that's it, that's game, and it's like no.
じゃあちょっくら届けてくっからよ。そのまま宴会に参加してくっから。
I hope the grandpa doesn't fucking fall sick or die though.
さて、帰ろうか。レイ君、ご飯食べていくでしょ。
ありがとうございます。でも今日は帰ります。また対局、試合あるし練習しないと。
さあ、試合多いね。頑張ってね。頑張って。
Aw.
あとおにぎりありがとう。美味しかったです。
じゃあこれ、うちの三日月焼き。出来たてで美味しいよ。
じゃあおやすみなさい。
いつでもおいでね。待ってるから。おやすみ。頑張れ。
Cute. This is so cute, dude. I'm like,
まだ来てないな。
お探しのものはこちらかな、桐山レイ君。
oh, fuck. Hold on. Okay, this is just a preview, yeah? Okay. Guys, I have a lot to say about this show. I did not think that this show was going to go as deep as it went. I did not think that the show was gonna go as like handle as many themes as it's fucking handled. Like this isn't just a fucking like, oh yeah, here you go. Like this is actually really fucking deep, and the fact that they actually play with the silences in a effective way is huge, right? Like the way that they're playing with the terminology and the way that they're doing like certain things. It's actually really fucking amazing, like wonderful. I think that this might be one of those animes that like heals you, I guess, or like allows you to go through like the journey of introspection for you to start like seeing that like you can get out of a tough spot or you can go through certain situations like that. Like I know it sounds weird, right? But like yeah, like it's just certainly dealing with themes of like, you know, emptiness, or you know what depression looks like or can feel like, or feeling numb, and like social stigmas and all of that. But with that, it's like, you know, it probably has a lot of different areas that it like strolls into. But more specifically, like I'm kind of curious as to how this is going to evolve and how our character's going to evolve, because we're in an environment where the character, like, you know, our main character here, you can tell that he's been through a lot. You can tell that he's going through a lot, and you can tell that the journey that he's going through is not an easy one to be a part of, you know. So I'm just curious about that, man. I actually really liked it. We might go ahead and continue this series as it goes through, because that's actually a really good episode, guys. Holy fuck. YouTube, hey, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Say, guys, I for this anime, it's one thing that I'd suggest and one thing that I'd say that like it's not an easy thing. It's not like it's an anime that would probably like trigger a lot of people. It's probably an anime that like if you're not ready to address certain themes, it's probably gonna hit like a truck. You know, and you're probably not like gonna expect that it's gonna hit like a truck, but when it hits like a truck, it hits and you're like, fuck. You know, you're like, I did not expect it to go this hard. That's how it feels like. It feels like this is one of those animes where like if you're not prepared for it, you're just gonna stop. Truck-kun, it feels like Truck-kun. Yeah, it does. Yes, it does, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it does. All right, hold on. How am I feeling? I'm feeling good. I feel like the anime managed to go ahead and it brings up a lot of interesting points, and stuff that I'm actually like comfortable talking about. It doesn't really mind me. I know for some people it might be a lot to open up about certain things. So for me, that's a-okay. Like, you know, topics and concepts like that. It's yeah, it's okay for me at least to go ahead and open up.